I played an expert player. He was like just under 2200, 2190 something. Here's the game. This is the highest rated player that I played in the year 2025. So let's have a look at the game and let's see what went down. My opponent opens up with the move e4. I get straight into a Caracan. He takes, I take. He pushed forward. I play the move knight f6. He pushes forward. I play the move g6. He brings his queen out. So far, guys, we're all in book moves. Nobody has made a mistake yet. I play the move e6. He pushes forward. I play the move bishop to g7. My opponent develops his knight. I get castled. My opponent develops his bishop. I play the move knight c6. My opponent gets castled. I play the move queen to c7, and this move is the first inaccuracy that I made, because what he's going to do is he's going to attack my queen with the move knight to b5, and this is a move that I ran into a couple times in the year 2025, and I had to get used to dealing with this knight, whether I'm going to play a6 or just taking time to understand that this is a move that white can play, because sometimes the knight will come there while I have my dark square bishop here. So I got used to seeing this knight maneuver to b5, so it was something that this game and other games helped me to prepare for this move knight to b5 a little bit better, right? Queen to c7, my first inaccuracy, and of course he moves forward with that knight, and now he's looking at this square. You know, that's not a great position we want to be in, letting this knight infiltrate our queen side like that, right? So then I play the move queen to e8. The reason that queen to e7 is a bad move and the better move would have been queen to b8 is because queen to b8 allows me to maintain control of this diagonal here, which means that he'll always have a hard time developing this bishop to this f4 square that he wants to get. But by moving my queen over to e7, I now allow him to develop his dark square bishop to that square, whereas if he developed it here, it's not doing much, and if he's developed it here, it would have been blocked by its own pawns, right? So by moving off of this diagonal, he's now able to develop his bishop there. So just not the best move. The best way to deal with his knight attacking my queen was just to simply go queen to b8, and the computer even says queen to b8 is the best move. During the game, I actually considered this move, but it just wasn't a move that I was used to playing. So I'm like, I think this is the right move, but I'm not sure if this is the right move. So ultimately I gave up this diagonal, which was not the best decision. Queen to e7, and of course, like I said, he took advantage of being able to develop his bishop to that f4 square as soon as he had the opportunity. So I played the move knight to e8, stopping him from being able to put his knight onto c7, because if his knight was able to get to c7, he would have been hitting my rook, and as soon as my rook would have moved, he would have been able to get some discovered attacks, say maybe knight captures e6, and then he's looking at another rook, and he's looking to capture the rook that would have moved over to b8, right? So that's why I played the move knight to e8, and the computer actually gave this a great move. And I thought so, right? Because I stopped the infiltration of the knight. But I'm going to tell you the problem as we go along. Queen to c3. a6, kicking his knight out of there, and his knight moves here to d6. Now, when I moved this knight to f8, not only was I gotten the c7 square, but in my mind, it was already made up. As soon as I kicked his knight out and his knight moved to either c7 or to d6, I already knew that I was taking that knight immediately. Like, without even seeing the position on the board, I had already made up my mind. When I moved my knight from f6 over to e8, I already knew that wherever that knight comes in, I'm going to cut immediately, right? I made up my mind before even seeing the position. So immediately when he played the move knight to d6, I had this square covered, which was great, because like I said, if he would have got this square off, he would have been able to get some disco attack against my rook. Also, when I made the move knight to e8, I had already made up my mind that no matter where his knight comes, whether that be d6 or e7, I was going to cut his knight immediately. What I learned this year was that it's never good to make up your mind about where your pieces are going to go before seeing the position. Why? Because as soon as he played the move knight to d6, I immediately captured, like immediately. And this is a bad move. I capture without even thinking about it. And the reason that I capture without thinking about it is because before he even came here, as soon as I moved my knight to e8, I already knew wherever that knight came in my space, I was cutting it. But that's a problem. Because my mind was already made up, I didn't give myself the opportunity to see what happens after I take my opponent's knight, right? So immediately I capture, and then of course my opponent captures right back, looking at 2 major pieces, and now my opponent is about to win the exchange. So that's kind of what happened here. Like, all of this is avoidable if I don't make up my mind before seeing a position. There's no reason to take this knight. It's not even doing nothing. It's threatening absolutely zero. It's threatening nothing. You know what I mean? It's not threatening anything. So instead of knight captures d6, that's a bad move. The better move would have been knight captures d4, knight captures d4, e5, getting my piece back. And that would have been a better way to play that. The moment that I did this, knight to f6, I already made up my mind. Wherever this knight goes, I'm cutting. Wherever this knight goes, I'm cutting. And that's a mistake. Queen to c3, then I kick his knight out, and then he plays here, and I take immediately because my mind was already made up, and that's a problem. You can have an idea of where you want to go, you can have a plan for the position, but you should let it be played on the board before you already have your mind made up of what you're going to do in a certain position, because it changes, because you may miss something, right? And I certainly did. So he was able to capture my knight on d6, and therefore he's going to win material here, because of course my queen has to move. Now he takes my rook, now my king captures, right? So right now I'm down in material against an expert player. Not the best place to be, right? Especially when it was avoidable. It was completely avoidable. If I didn't make up my mind that I was taking this knight regardless to the position, then I would have seen that, oh wait, you can't take that. That's not even playable, because he'll take with the bishop and therefore win material. But I didn't even consider it because my mind was already made up. My opponent plays the move rook to d1. I take that pawn there because I got 3 in that square. He takes back, I take, he moves over. So right now he's a +1. So not doing too bad, but this move, queen to a5, he's looking at checkmate here. I don't want to get mated. So this is another issue that I made in this game. I see the mate. I see that after queen to a5, he's looking to checkmate me here. If this queen comes here, my king will have nowhere to go, and there's nothing that could block it. So because I don't want to get mated, I make the terrible move king to g8. So that now if you come here, I can block with my bishop. But that wasn't the right way to play this. What I should have done was covered the square with either queen to f6 or queen to h4. Both of those being a better move, because then if your queen comes here, my queen just captures, right? My queen covers the square and it just captures your queen, so you can't even play that anymore. I did not do that. However, I played this move, king to g8, and that's a terrible move because now your rook is behind my queen and you're going to get some type of discovered attack here, and that's exactly what happened. Bishop takes, and of course I can't take the bishop back because I have to deal with my hanging queen. I play the move queen takes, b8, just trying to not go too far down in material, but that's not the best move either, because my king, this g file is going to open up for him to get a rook lift off and come over to my king side. My opponent comes in with the move queen to d8 check. I block the check. My opponent now, he puts his bishop back to b1 according to my score sheet. I just hit him up the other day like, hey bro, do I have this correct? Because if he played this move, bishop to b1, that's a terrible move. I cannot take this rook. If queen takes, he gets bishop takes, check, and then I have to take, and then he takes my queen, right? So I can't even take that. Okay, so it makes sense that he played that. I hit him up the other day like, bro, do I have this correct? Because bishop b1 is not a great move. I can't take this rook, of course. However, bishop to b1 is not the best square for that bishop. It looked better if he would have went here. I understand you can't go there, but oh, he did go bishop to b1. I get why he went bishop to b1. He definitely can't go anywhere right here because these pawns control these white squares, right? He couldn't go there, so, and he can't go there because of this queen. So my opponent played the move bishop to b1. I played the move queen to c3 because, again, I can't take that rook there. And then my opponent played this move, rook to d3. And according to my score sheet, guys, he played the move rook to d3. And he blundered checkmate. I had checkmate here. Now, I hit him up the other day like, hey, bro, do I have this correct? Because if I have this correct, I would have beat him. The highest rated player I played in 2025, I had him beat. I would have beat him. He blundered back rank mate. So, according to my score sheet, guys, this is what went down. He played this move rook to d3. He blundered checkmate. This was the correct move, and according to my score sheet, I missed it. Yeah, he went rook to d3. Crazy blunder. Very, very bad blunder. Game deciding blunder, but I did not see it. I did not see the checkmate. So if he actually played that move, rook to d3, that's a huge blunder. First of all, you blundered mate. But even if I didn't see the mate, I could have actually took the material too. Not that taking the material was good, but I think he blundered mate here. According to my score sheet, the highest rated player that I played in 2025 blundered checkmate. That's absolutely insane. I hit him up to ask him, like, hey, do you have your score sheet? Do I have this correct? So I'm actually waiting on him to hit me back, but I'm pretty sure my score sheet is correct. It's all made sense thus far. So the highest rated player that I played in 2025 actually blundered checkmate, but I missed it. Played the move queen capture c5. Terrible, terrible move. And now I get checkmated, right? Because rook comes over to g3. I have to move over. Queen goes there, and I am officially checkmated. But I will say I had some major takeaways, like the opening of this game. You know, we both played a pretty solid opening. It was a lot of things to learn from this game. When I played him, I was probably just over, 1,100 over the board, or not even. I was probably just over 1,000 over the board. c5, I fiend kettle my bishop, I get castle, bishop comes over, knight comes out, and I would say queen to c7 was my first inaccuracy. I wouldn't consider it a big mistake, but I just didn't consider the move knight to b5. Now that I've seen this move so much, particularly when my queen is on c7 and my bishop is on d6, now I know to look for that move, and a move like a6 is therefore useful. So that was my first inaccuracy of this game. Of course, he played it. I played that move. That was not the greatest decision. I actually considered queen to b8, and I should have trusted myself there. But sometimes when you play these higher rated players and you're lower rated, sometimes you second guess yourself, and you give the players more respect than they deserve. You guys could check out this video here and how you can see more recently I had a higher rated player absolutely beat, but because he was so much higher rated than me, I gave him more respect than he deserved. But queen to b8 was definitely the move, and I did consider it, but I did not play it. My opponent then gets this diagonal, and that's why queen to b8 was important to play, because if I play that, he doesn't then get that diagonal, right? So that was like the second mistake. Knight to e8 was a great move because it protected this square, and he can't now jump there and make my rook move and then get some discovered attack. So knight to d8 was a great move, but the problem with the move was I decided when I made the move that whether his knight came to c7 or d6, I was cutting it immediately, and that was the problem. It was great to cover this square, but you don't need to cut on d6. In fact, you can't cut, right? Because you got this bishop that'll be looking at two major pieces, and that's exactly what happened. After his queen moves over, I played a move a6. He walks forward, and then because my mind was already made up, I didn't even give myself an opportunity to look at the position and say, hey, is this actually playable? My mind was already made up. As soon as his knight infiltrates, my 6th rank, I'm taken. So I took not the best idea. So at this point, I am actually strategically lost here because I'm going to move. He's going to win the exchange. I'm going to take. And then next thing you know, he moves his rook over. I take, he take, I take. So, he's a +1 in material here. His queen comes over. I move over to stop the checkmate. But as you guys already know, queen to h4 or queen to f6 was better to stop this mate and therefore cover this d6 square. So he takes immediately. I can't take back because his rook is looking at my queen. So I have to take. He calls check. I block. He moves over. Bishop to b1. Obviously not the best move, although now I can see why he played it. This pawn covers this square. This pawn covers this square. This pawn covers this square. And he can't go there because the queen covers. So you either had two options, one or two. And I believe that he wanted his rook to keep this opportunity to lift it, right? But bishop to b1 is not a great move at all. So I played the move queen to c7 because again I could not take this rook, because if I takes h7, king takes back, rook takes my queen, right? So that's not what was played. Instead, when he went bishop to b1, my queen came to c3, and then he played this blunder. Everything in my score sheet has been correct thus far, so I'm pretty sure this is exactly how the game went. I'm questioning myself because I'm like, wow, did he really blunder mate? Because if he did, I had this game won. I had an opportunity to be the expert player. Wow, this is checkmate. This would have been mate. But I totally overlooked it. Totally overlooked it. Instead, I played that move, queen capture c5, and now I am in some trouble because he's going to call check. I move over. He calls check again. I put my bishop there, and then he takes with checkmate, right, guys? So that was the game 2025 against my highest rated player. I didn't play terrible, but I also didn't play the most accurate and the most efficient game, and I just found out that I blundered checkmate. So that kind of hurt my feelings. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.